Hello everybody and welcome to the show. Yes, with me and Mr. TB Bear, everyone's favourite. He's still got that bloody WTF1 logo on his shirt. Look at him. Traitorous little shit. Traitorous little... There he is, TB the Bear, TB the Bear. I can hear myself in quadruple stereo. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. TB. What have I told you about this? It has to go up there like that. See? Like that. Okay? Now it makes me look like a proper YouTuber now, don't I? Look like a proper YouTuber, don't I? What's that you say? You look like a right wanker. Outrageous. Anyway, hello everyone. How are we doing today? Yes. I think there's been far too much Hookster on the YouTubes this week. Far too much. So I'm going to do a short stream tonight. Yes, a short stream. Far too many videos this week. Everyone's going to get fed up with me soon. Anyway, let's put the bear down. I do love you. I do love you, bear. Mwah. 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 But I've got other parts I love better. Beautiful bear. Beautiful bear. Bloody hell. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the stream. He says, Mr. Palmer. Oh, excuse me, David. How are we doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. Yes, Mr. Palmer. That's me. Jonathan David. Let's put my microphone down a little bit because I don't. Do you watch these? Do you watch these vloggers? Because let me put that over there. There you go. Do you watch these vloggers? And have you seen them when they're vlogging? And they got their microphone. I mean, you know, these microphones are quite big. Let me put this one up a little. Look, that's the size of that's the size of mine. Okay, so these microphones are quite big. And then I can't actually replicate it here, but you get these big like vloggers and they got the microphone like hanging downwards. You know what I'm talking about. And they're hanging downwards and it's literally sort of right sitting there. And I'm thinking, move the fucking thing out of the way. What's the point in that? I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, is it just to say, oh, look at me and my big microphone. Look at my big microphone I've got. Look at me. Look at me. Look. So yes, if you're a vlogger, put the mic, put it down there like that. People can still hear you and you're not interfering with the frame of the image, are you? Surely that's a lot better. Surely. Everyone says it would be a lot better if you turn the camera off so we can just look at your ugly mug, Hookings. Oh dear, never mind. The alerts with Josh is stuck in my... I know. You say that. You say that. I'm the one that makes them. Yeah, so you can imagine this brain here. I have to make those bleeding things. And that alert, I mean, I have to edit them as well. And I have to go through those alerts about 6 times I hear that alert before I get the bit right, before I then send it off to Josh. So about half a dozen times for each one of those skits that you see on there. So feel sorry for me, Mr. Barnes. Feel sorry for me because, oh my God, all I hear now is that, or whatever it is, I can't remember. But that's all I hear now, constantly. Terrible, terrible. Hello, Matthew7657. He says, can you phone the beautiful Orlando early, please? Well, I have just phoned the beautiful Orlando early, but that was just a test transmission to make sure that the Facebook was working, and it is all working. But I will be doing it early because if you weren't here right at the start of the stream, I said I think there's been far too much of the Hookster this week. Yes, I was just looking at my YouTube couple of minutes ago before I came on here, and I thought, yeah, I've made a lot of videos this week, and I don't want to outstay my welcome. So yeah, I won't be on for very long. Just a very quick stream, in fact. So I will be going to Mr. Orlando very, very quickly. So hang on in there, as I say, because I will get the stream done as quick as possible, because I'll say I don't want to outstay my welcome. A lot of videos, of course, I could be just like Mr. Moaning Yorkshireman and just, you know, take 4 days to finally make a... Anyway! But yeah, so I will be doing a quick stream tonight. There's not a lot to talk about in the world of Formula 1 anyway, because I said a lot about it in Monday's video. So really, the only F1 there is to talk about is the one that's coming up this weekend, which is Miami. Yes. Now, they've changed some of the track circuit because some of the drivers complained after last year. So there's a couple of slight alterations, but nothing too drastic. But is Miami going to be a great race? Well, I hope it's better than Baku, which was a complete and utter snooze fest. Snooze fest, it really was. I say we've got 6 Grand Prix in 8 weeks now. We've had one with Baku, so we've got another 5 more Grand Prix. So there's only going to be one more Grand Prix. I don't know where it is when there's going to be a week break. So it's going to be F1 constantly now, which I always don't like because it dilutes the product. It dilutes the product. Let me actually see if we can look at the F1 schedule here, because... the F1 calendar, because I haven't looked at that for quite a while. 2023. Thank you. Let's have a look, because I haven't seen this for a while. If my computer's actually going to load it in. Come on, load it in. Oh, here we go. There we go. Right, let's have a look at the calendar. Oh, yeah, I accept. I accept all your cookies. Now go away. Thank you. Where can I place myself? How about down there? There we go. So where are we? Where are we? I've forgotten. Oh yeah, we just had Azerbaijan. Oh, here we are. Here we are. United States Grand Prix is in Miami. Lovely. And the next one after that is Italy. Oh, you know what I'm going to do now, don't you? Oh, you know what I'm going to do now, don't you? Yes. Here we go. Clear the throat. Just one cornetto. Give it to me. Delicious ice cream from Italy. That's quite enough of that. Anyway, that was Italy. That's the next Grand Prix, which is on the 19th of May. So we've got one this weekend. We've got one next weekend. We've got one the weekend after that, which is Monaco. Now, Monaco, yes, that might not go ahead. Or if it does, it's going to be a complete disaster. Because if you haven't read in the news, Monaco is predominantly run by French people. Yes, there's a lot of French in Monaco, a lot of French. And as you might not have seen in the news, or you may have seen in the news, unfortunately at the moment there's a lot of protests going on in France. A lot of protests due to the fact that they've raised the pension age from 62 to 64. I'm really at a loss considering, I don't know what it is in the UK right now. I think it's 68, 69, maybe 75, I don't know. The way this country's going, it'll be 80 soon. But yeah, and they're moaning about it being raised to 64. So they've been doing a lot of protests. There's been a lot of fires in France. The May Day protest, but that's pretty traditional actually, that they do May Day protests. So, but that has been going on as well. And so what they want to do, because obviously I think the TV is run by a French TV company, and in protest at the pensions and basically as a up you to President Macron, what they want to do is they want to start the race, and then 10 minutes into the race they want to cut all the power. They want to cut all the power, so then there'll be no timing screens, no one will know what's going on, so they'll basically have to red flag the race because they won't be able to continue with absolutely zero power. It just doesn't happen because everything's run on computer screens, so that, you know, it'll be pointless. It'll be like It'll be like the first Grand Prix in 1950. That's what it will. That's what it will be like if they switch off all the power. It'll be like 1950s Grand Prix, Episode 1. So they can't do it because everything's run by electronics, and so unfortunately they'll have to red flag the race and abandon it. Now, in my eyes, I think that's stupidity squared, and if there's any sniff that that is going to go on, they should just cancel Monaco completely and say, no, not doing it. It'll be back next year, so it's not going to be a problem. It's on the calendar for God knows how many more years. So it's not going to be a problem, but they should just get rid of that if that is what they are going to do, because that is just stupid. You can't run a race for 10 minutes and then just did a protest because the pension's gone up. I mean, come on. God's sake. God's sake. So, yeah, that's Monaco. And then, so that's this week, next week, week after is Monaco. And then, yep, the week after that is Spain. Oh, my goodness. Wowzers, me trousers. And then we've got a 2-week gap before we go to Canada. That's 1, 2, 3. We've had Baku. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 must be Austria in the next 8 weeks. So there you go. Austria, which is the end of June. That doesn't quite work out. I don't know. I got that off of Twitter anyway. They said, so maybe they got that wrong. But yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 Grand Prix in 8 weeks. No, that's right. That's right, you plum. Sorry, I was trying to do maths in my head and I'm not very good at that. Yeah, Canada will be the last of the 6 Grand Prix because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. I got it there. Oh dear. You can see it's live. So yeah, we've got Miami, which is a bit of a mere circuit. We've got Italy, one of my favourites. Love Italy. Monaco, oh God. Spain, oh God, twice really, because it's not a very good track, is it really? And then we got Canada, oh how we love you. So yes, Canada, great circuit indeed. So out of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, out of the next 5, we've got at least 2 to look forward to. Yes, at least 2 to look forward to. Scott says, I have in the past called Kevin Chapman with a son who's autistic. Ah, Kevin Chapman. Yeah, I do catch Kevin Chapman a few times. I don't subscribe to him, but if he turns up in my feed, which he does seem to quite a lot, no idea why. Maybe because I've clicked on videos occasionally that he turns up in his feed. But yeah, I've watched a few Kevin Chapman videos. The most cringiest trait on the calendar, my brother said, rain from Sunday, even though he's unsure about it. Okay. Alert. Since 2017, I've been working in the F1 game community, and they said I'm as useless as F1 98, F1 2014, F1... The cheeky bastards. Yes, that's the one. I should have that as a... but I don't do them anymore. No, because I was unceremoniously sacked by the moaning Yorkshireman. Yeah. He absolutely denies it. He denies it, but I was sacked. I was Palmer, but I was sacked, and he gave it to a younger model. And yet I've still got to edit it, so I do all the hard work. Just that Orlando chap just comes in, I don't know, every 6 weeks or whatever. And you know what? He does that all in bulk as well. He does about 10 of those all in a bulk MP3 file. Does about 10 in a go. So it's not, there's no effort really. He just sits there. I don't know how he comes up with the ideas. I've no idea. Probably the same as me. Just pop into his head. But so I'm still editing them. So I'm doing all the hard work. He just sits there, sends me an MP, or he sends it to Josh and he sends it to me, an MP3 file. And then I have to edit all that into separate little segments for his moaning Yorkshireman thing that he can't be bothered to do for 5 days because he forgets or says he's busy. I don't know what he's up to. Yeah. Chasing that band halfway around the country, I do believe. Yeah, chasing that band halfway through the country. Scott says, I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, that's a good one, Scott. I like that indeed. I should have used that. Apparently, I'm going to be back for Silverstone, Mr. Palmer. I've been told, or I was told at the start of the year, Knowing the moaning Yorkshireman, he's probably changed his mind by now. But I was told at the start of the year that I was going to be back for Silverstone. It is a special one-off. Yeah, that's nice of him, isn't it? Yeah, bring me back for one episode. Wow, yeah, great. So I will be back. So I may use that. In fact, because these streams. I'm not going to go for a hour and a half stream. What I'm going to do, Scott, is I'm going to write that down. Yeah, I'm going to write it down right now. Did you like my title of the video as well? I was literally just going to bed and that popped into my head and I thought, I was so impressed with myself. I went, I've got to write that down. And look, I did. If you can see that. See, I wrote on a piece of paper just before I went to bed. Cause I didn't want to have it in my head as I was going to bed. I wouldn't be able to sleep because I'd just be thinking about it. So I wrote it down. See there? Will it be Miami Twice for Max in the... That's a play on Miami Vice. You remember the show from the 80s? Cops, Miami Vice, Miami Twice. Yeah? I know, I'm a bloody genius. Underappreciated genius as well, I tell you. Underappreciated genius. Anyway. Let's write that down a minute. Get everything out of the way. Talk amongst yourselves a minute, everyone. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just writing something down. I've been working. In that F1 game community, and they said I'm as useless as F198. Don't you disappear off me tablet. F1 2014 and 15 all together. All together. The cheeky bastards. The cheeky bastards. That's the bit I like the best. The cheeky bastards. I came up with that for his little comedy skits, the bastards, because I thought that was the only sort of word that would get passed by YouTube and they wouldn't, have a hissy fit over it. And it seemed to have worked, yeah. Cheeky bastards. Yeah. So there you go. Right. Anyway, thanks for that, Scott. I've written it down. You may see it sometime in the future. Don't hold your breath, though, but you may see it sometime in the future. Yeah, not unfortunately on the current ones, because as I say, I'm not doing them anymore. But it may return at some point, and if it does, I've got that written down. So anyway, back to the F1. So there you go. That's the Grand Prix we got for the next few weekends. So it's the United States, and will it be Miami Twice for Maxi Boy Verstappen this weekend at Miami? I'm pretty sure it will be. I think his only other sort of contender will of course be his own teammate Sergio Perez. So I think that provided everything goes okay, there's no accidents at the start and Max doesn't get taken out or whatever, I think it'll be a foregone conclusion that he will end up pretty much winning the race. Now, of course, this will also translate to Italy because Red Bull have got a very, very strong DRS wing on that car. So that will Monaco. Now, Monaco, yeah, I'm not so sure about the Red Bulls at Monaco. That could bring up a few surprises. Let's see there. Then we've got Spain. I think that'll be another whitewash for the Red Bull because of their overall speed advantage. And unfortunately, Canada as well is going to be a a bit of a whitewash for the Red Bulls. That's not looking good for the rest of the field at the moment. I really can't see. Ferrari might do well in Italy because they've got the fans behind them at Italy, so that might be able to pull something out of the bag there. We'll have to see. Charlie Boy might have a special little thing there in Italy. We will find out. But as for the rest, apart from Monaco, Spain and Canada, that's going to be a Red Bull whitewash because, as I say, there's nothing that can touch their straight line DRS speed, and Spain's quite a high speed circuit, and Canada's definitely a high speed circuit. So yeah, it's not looking good for those races. So then we go into the summertime. We've got Austria, Great Britain. How many have we got in July? God, this is a full calendar. It really is, isn't it? So June, well, Austria is in July, but only just peeking into July. But we got 4 races in July. Bloody hell. So that's going to be one a week. Austria. Well, obviously, Dave, because it's 4 weeks in a bloody month, you idiot. Not always. Sometimes 5. Austria, Great Britain, Hungary, Belgium. Wow. And then we got only one in August. Is that now gonna be the season break? I presume. Yeah, 27th. No, it's only a week. When's the summer break then? Are they not having a summer break? Oh, they've had one already, haven't they? Let's have a look. It's a summer break. 20th August. No, it's only a week, isn't it? 2 weeks till then. And it's only a week till then. This looks suspiciously like they've not got a summer break. Am I looking at this correctly? So there's no break there, is there? Because as I say, that's going all the way through. June, July. No, July is completely full. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. So we got Belgium at the end of July, and then the next one isn't until the 25th of August. So there's the summer break right there. Well done, Dave. Well done indeed. Yep, there it is. There's the summer break. So that's going to be a pretty much 3 week break before the Dutch Grand Prix. So they're actually having 2 3-week breaks. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I thought they would have got rid of that, to be honest. But obviously this calendar was set pretty much at the start of the year. So obviously all these dates are going to continue. So yeah, there's going to be another 3-week break. Seems very weird to cram all these races in such a short time and then have another 3-week break again. Very weird. Very weird. I know the 3-week break was because China was cancelled, but I would have just tried to got another Grand Prix in there. Surely they could have done. They had enough time. They knew China was off the calendar. I don't think China's ever going to be back on the calendar, to be honest, but they knew it was off. They could have. There's so many of those reserve circuits out there now, isn't there? Have we got Portimao on the? No, we haven't got Portimao this. Or have we had it? I can't remember. But if we haven't had it, is it there? Is it there? No, it's not. So there you go. Could have had Portimao. No, we haven't had Portimao. No, we haven't. I just realised because we've only had a few Grand Prix. Yeah, so they could have had Portimao as the replacement for China easily, couldn't they? So that's very weird. Very weird. And the season still finishes on the 24th, 26th of November, which is about the normal time when the season's finished. So yeah, wow. And they want to get 30 races in by 2020. I just don't see how it's possible. They'll end up like the touring car, the British touring car, and they'll have to do 3 rounds every weekend. They will. We'll have 3 25% races every weekend. It's just ridiculous. There'll be 50 Grand Prix by 2050. I guarantee you. 50 Grand Prix. Just 3 25% races every weekend. Oh my God. Then it really will be just like NASCAR, which is what a lot of people are saying anyway. But yeah, wowzers. Scott says GTA Vice City vibes. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was aiming for. But to be fair to Dom, he's doing a solid job with the teeth. Yeah, he is doing a solid job. Oh, yeah, I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just taking away the fact that I got sacked and I'm still ended up still doing the editing. How does that work? How do you get sacked from something and then you still end up doing 78% of the work. That's a bit weird. Scott says, I said at the start of the year that Alonso wins the British Grand Prix, but I'm calling it now as it happens. People must pray for me. I think Alonso could win the British Grand Prix very easily. Yeah, I think he could. To me, Silly Boy Barnes or France at Paul Ricard. Yeah, but sorry, I forgot about Paul Ricard as well. Yeah, they could have had that one. That's like the ultimate reserve circuit now, isn't it? Because that was actually raced on. Was it just up to last year, wasn't it? I think, or 2021. So, yeah, they could definitely add Paul Ricard in there because, you know, that would still be 100% up to the FIA standards because, obviously, as these tracks don't get used, that their standards do actually drop and they have to be, you know, inspected again to bring them up to the standards. But if you've got a track that's literally just dropped off the calendar, that's definitely going to be 100% up to standard. So they could have used Paul Ricard, even though it's, you know, a lot of people complain about it's not a very good circuit. It's still a circuit and they still could have raced around it, couldn't they? It just seems bizarre to me that they, you know, introduced 2 3-week breaks into a schedule which is pretty jam-packed anyway. Pretty jam-packed. When's the shit show? Oh, there's the shit show. There it is. Right at the end, 16th of November in Las Vegas. Now, apparently, according to the timings, I don't know whether this is right or not, that race starts at about 10 p.m. United States time. That's just crazy. Absolutely. So it won't be finished until gone midnight. Yeah. How crazy is that? God knows when Channel 4 will put the highlights onto that race. No. I mean, the afternoon races, like the Brazil, when that's shown when that's basically 5 p.m. UK time, when that's on, I mean, they don't get round to the highlights for that till about 10 o'clock at night on Channel 4. And also the Circuit of the Americas, that's also on about 10 o'clock at night. So God knows what they're going to do with Las Vegas. It'll probably be on Monday, I expect. Or 3 o'clock in the morning. No idea. But yeah, so there you go. United States Grand Prix again. We've got 3, haven't we, this year in the United States? Have we still got COTA or has COTA gone? Wait a minute, I can't see Circuit of the Americas. Oh, there it is. There it is. So yeah, 3 Grand Prix this year in the United States. Oh, hello. My timer's going off. Must be time for my Viagra. Oh dear. Let's get back to the chat. Right, so anyway, that's pretty much all the F1 news I can think of right now. Because as I say, it's been a pretty... well, there's been a lot of news, and I've said most of it on Monday in my Monday video, so I don't want to go over it again. So anyway, what do we think? Do we think that Max is going to win? I think he will win at Miami. I think it's a foregone conclusion. If not him, it'll be Checo. As for the best of the rest, I think George is going to be up there. I think Gorgeous George is going to be up there in possibly 3rd position. Lulu possibly 4th, and then the Ferraris, both the Ferraris. And unfortunately, with their performance at the moment, I'm going to say the Astons sort of, what's that, 7th or 8th? I'm going to say. Only because, you know, like the last race, didn't do as well. This, of course, happens when you come out strong out of the box at the start of the season. You do sometimes tend to tail off because other teams get more developments in place and, you know, get more to grips with the car. And unfortunately, you do start to slide down a little bit. So I think it's going to be like a 6th, 7th, 8th for possibly Alonso, and Lance Stroll will be possibly behind him in 7th or 8th, possibly. But I'm only saying that for Miami. I think Aston will probably start in the next few rounds to come back. I think it's just Miami. Anyway, we will see. So that's all the news. Thanks so much for. Oh my god, I've been 36 minutes waffling. 36 minutes I've been waffling. I said I was going to do a quick stream tonight, didn't I? Well, it might be quick because if no one comes into the chat, it will be quick. Right. So apparently I've got to ring this Canadian. Ooh. Let's do that. First I've got to switch myself off. Everyone goes, yay! Oh. That's it. Put screens up on live feeds that you don't want people to see. That's it, Dave. Well done. Well done indeed. Oh dear. Right, let's see if the Canadian's about. Look, it's working. Yay! Beep. 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 Wow, my Facebook's going mental. What's going on? Don't know. Looks like Bruce Springsteen might still be playing guitar at the moment, and he can't come to the phone. Come on, Mr. Orlando. By the way, while that's ringing, I've got to let me turn that down a minute. While that's ringing, just because everyone thinks I'm a big pussy, I did actually send Kieran from ex-WTF1 a tweet the other day, and I actually invited him onto this podcast. Yes. Unfortunately, I haven't got a reply yet, but I have invited him onto the podcast. So there you go. Kieran, ex-WTF1 employee. I don't expect to get a reply, to be honest, but I gave it a shot, because if you don't ask, you don't get in this world. So I asked him if he wanted to come on just for a quick 10 minutes, because obviously I can't pay him. But I didn't actually say that in the tweet, you know, just in case he thought I'm not coming on just to pay him. But no, I just asked him if he wanted to come onto the podcast, and unfortunately no reply. But I have looked at his Twitter, and it doesn't seem to be very active on it anyway. Yeah, he tweets very little and doesn't say a lot, so yeah. Beep. Right, back to the beeps. Come on, Orlando. He's not there, everyone. He's not there, everyone. Hello, Mr. Will F1 Gaming. This stream exactly 1 year ago was the one where Dom answered the phone on the toilet. Was it really? Oh, fantastic. Well, hopefully he's not going to answer it on the toilet today, I tell you. That's one too many shocks I can't put up with this week. I remember that stream. Did anyone see last week's stream with the little video I put up at the end featuring Mr. Dominic Orlando? If you haven't, then go check it out. But please be warned. Let me turn this bloody buzzing down a bit. There you go. But please be warned, okay? If you're of a nervous disposition, please don't watch it. It's the most gruesome thing I've ever seen in all my life. It really is. I don't know how it got through YouTube, but there you go. Yeah, it's right at the end of last week's stream. It is on. It lasts a total of 2 minutes and 51 seconds of your life that you're never going to get back. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out, because it's... I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway, yeah. Go check it out. No, he's not going to answer. Right, well, to finish off the show then, we will just go to the general chat, which is basically all the lads from the Elite Racing League. We've got our own little Facebook chat where we're all in there. So I'm just going to do a general shout out and see if anyone picks up. But first, please forgive me, I've got to get rid of a lot of names because you can only select 8 on Facebook. So we've got to get rid of that one, that one, that one. This is all people that aren't really active that I get rid of, you see. Or there's one that's never spoken, so we can't really have him on the show because that would be a bit awkward, wouldn't it? Hello? 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 Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9. I've got to get rid of someone else. I'm sorry. I've got to get rid of one of you. Who can go? Well, that one, because he never speaks. That one, because he never speaks. Here we go. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Here we go. I thought it was going to foul on me then, but it didn't. Oh, let's see if anyone picks up. Scott says, I remember Jamie on last week. Yeah, Jamie was on last week. I don't rehearse this, so I don't actually ring anyone or say, oh, do you want to be on the show? It's pure, completely live. I just randomly call and, you know, sometimes there's people out there. Oh! We have a visitor. Hello, Donald.
What's up,
welcome to the stream.
What's up?
What's up? You've saved the show because no one was going to answer. I tried to get that bloody Canadian, but it's just can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. He can't. What can you say?
Ready for Miami?
Yeah, I'm ready for Miami. Should be a great one, I think. I'm not a fan of the circuit, to be honest. It's not.
No, neither am I.
It's not one of my favourites. We've got Italy next week. That should be a bit better.
Yeah, Imola, right?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it was. Was it Imola? Or was it? Hang on, I've got it somewhere. The schedule. There we are. Let me look. I didn't actually look to see which Italy it was. Yeah, it's the Emilia Romagna. That's Imola, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that is anyway. Let me just click on it.
Why are you looking at it?
Yeah, it's Imola. Yeah, it's Imola. I'm just looking at the track design. Yeah, it's Imola.
Did you pre-order F1 2023 yet?
No, I haven't yet. In actual fact, I usually get it off this like shop in the UK. You know, like an online shop that does it. They're always about £10 cheaper than if you buy it from like PlayStation and that. But they haven't got it. They haven't got it on their shop at the moment, so there must be, you know, a couple of days delay before it comes on. I noticed it's on Sony. It's like, I don't know, £70 over here, so that's going to be about $85. That's a lot of cash, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll probably pre-order at my local GameStop this weekend just to put the minimum down, just to reserve it.
Yeah. Are you gonna get the extra expensive version?
Well, apparently that's digital only, so it's probably going to be like you buy the standard and then do like the Champions Edition upgrade for like $10 or $20 or whatever it was, just like last year.
Oh right, okay, I didn't know it was digital only. Ah.
Well, that's how the last two F1s did. Like you bought the standard and then the championship was like a digital. Like you bought that digital, it was like $10 or $20, whatever the difference was.
Yeah. Well, ever since the Sony scandal of last year, if you remember about the PlayStation 3 and they were going to shut down the store and you were going to lose all your games, I I don't actually buy digital games anymore. I only buy them on disc because I don't know. I just don't like the thought of paying out money for something and then in a few years down the line you're going to lose it. So I only buy them on disc now.
Yeah. I wish. See how Codemasters fucks this one up.
Yeah, well, one thing I am very excited about, as I say that now, obviously when a game comes out, it's going to be completely disappointing, is that apparently they've done something for pad players. They haven't been too specific on what that is, but apparently the handling has been improved for pad players. Now, as soon as I hear that, I always get very excited. And apparently it feels more like real F1 than ever before. Apparently, that's only the EA bullshit that they usually come out with. But apparently, for pad players, it's going to feel more like F1 than ever before. So I'm a little bit excited for that. A little bit excited. So, but we will see. What usually happens is the game comes out, it feels really good. They release about 2 patches, and then it feels crap. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Jamie's in the chat.
And
Hello,
hopefully,
Jamie. He says, "Oh, it's nice if you've got." All right, carry on, Donald. Go on. I was just reading out the chat. Sorry.
hopefully they get rid of those stupid supercars bullshit that he put in 2022.
Yeah, I didn't see much of that in the trailer. I don't know whether it's still in or not. Hopefully not. Unfortunately, no classic cars again. Disappointing, but we knew that anyway.
They need to bring those back.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Breaking Point 2 again, so that's going to be exciting. Not.
Oh yeah, I heard about the story mode shit again.
Yeah. Have you? Because I've got it, but I haven't.
I didn't mind that so much. I mean, at least it's F1, not stupid supercars.
True. I must admit, I played the original Breaking Point. I did it live on stream about, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever. And I did it live, and I really enjoyed it. I must admit, because it was like a narrative story, and for once I actually enjoyed doing it, and I couldn't actually wait to start streaming it again because So yeah, I was impressed. So I am gonna be a bit excited for this one coming out as well. And of course, apparently you can drive as a female, which is really exciting for me, of course. But yeah, apparently that's what you can do. I know you've been able to in the past, but it was only like putting in a female name and then you got a female avatar that you could choose, couldn't you? So it's not really the same thing. But apparently in this game you can actually play as a female. So I'm excited, really.
Yeah, I don't mind the Breaking Point. It's just the supercars thing was just stupid. Like,
yeah. And the thing is about those supercars was they had no handling characteristics of a supercar because they couldn't engineer that into a game that's all about F1. So all those supercars it's the F1 cars, and they just basically detuned all the physics to make them like really slippery. But the actual handling is exactly the same as the F1 cars because how can you you're not going to spend a load of time. You're not going to spend a load of time putting in like supercar physics into an F1 game, are you? It's just, you can't be bothered with that.
nah, they need to bring the classic cars back because, like, ERL nights, that was fun. 1 week it was F2, then the next week it was classic. Like, they were also fun to drive, the classic cars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's up, Jamie?
Jamie.
Wonder how long it was going to take you to notice.
Well, you did have a slight pause when you came onto my screen for about 10 seconds, so that's why
fair enough.
I waited till you
It
come
wasn't it wasn't a pause. I was just sitting really, really still.
Oh god.
I only come on because I was going to say something, and then I was just going to go. But then the moment's gone now.
That happens to me all the time, Jamie. It's called getting old.
Well, no, it's not that I forgot it. It's just I heard you talking about the women drivers being allowed. Well, you can drive as a woman in the
Oh
new
yeah,
F1 game,
yeah.
and I just thought, well, that'd suit your driving style fucking perfectly, wouldn't it?
Nice one. Yes,
There we go.
indeed.
He's crashed again.
Oh dear. Yeah, apparently someone in my on my YouTube they sent a message to one of the big F1 YouTubers because he did a video about F1 2023, and apparently if you don't drive very well on multiplayer, it will affect you in the actual main game as well, because you sort of lose points and it goes across the board, not just on multiplayer but on the actual single player as well. That's what I've heard.
I don't know how much of that. I know exactly what you mean, but apparently, you've got your driver rating, as it were.
Yeah,
I think it just affects your driver rating.
right, I'm with you.
So I don't know. It depends how it. Oh, Dave's gone. Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. I think
You're
it
real
just
choppy,
affects
Danny.
your. Yeah, why is it mine that's being funny?
Yeah, because you're real choppy on my end too. Dave's fine.
Yeah, you
It's
are.
your
You're a little
end.
bit choppy, Jamie. Yeah, you're back
Alright,
now
sorry.
though. We got you now. We got you now.
Yeah, I don't know why it sort of flicked out for a minute. Yeah, I think it is just your driver rating that's affected, like your A, B, C, D thing, whatever it is.
Oh, I was hoping
It
that.
determines what lobbies you're put in.
Yeah, that determines what lobbies you're putting online. But I think for the way it's going to affect the career mode is it might affect, like, at the end of the season, what driver you're going to, if you're getting team offers, etc.
Yeah, I was hoping if you performed as a bad boy, you'd get 50 lashes, but I must be thinking of another kind of game.
That's that one that Dom plays, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that
Oh,
would be
dear.
stupid if it affected it overall, like performance and stuff in single player because that'd be annoying. That'd be stupid.
Yeah, it would be a bit annoying. We'll have to see how that works out. Hopefully, it will just be something stupid, as JV says, like the ranking, and it won't affect you too much. Too much, anyway.
Especially when rank lobbies, people drive like idiots anyway.
That's true. Yeah, especially the first 2 weeks after they get the game, it's just like it's a free for all, isn't it? You know, like, oh my god, there's no point in going online for the first 2 weeks afterwards because it's just full of newbies and kids that can't even steer in a straight line, basically.
Remind me of someone else I know.
I know. Who's that? Who does that? I told you
I
about
think his
that,
name
Jamie.
is Dave Hook.
Who is that guy? Never heard of him. Get him off. Matthew in the chat says, thoughts on Verstappen and Russell kissing each other onto the wall.
I mean,
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen.
Jesus, what's he done to his hair?
Oh, no.
What the hell's he done to his hair?
I got a haircut, and it looks really short.
Looks really short.
yeah,
It
what
looks
was
like
your
me.
opinion of that whole Russell
He's turning-
Verstappen incident,
Turning
Dave?
into Joe Plant every day.
Russell versus Verstappen. It was like a rock'em sock'em, man. It was great side-by-side racing, but I think Verstappen's a whiny little bitch. That's what I'll say. That's my hot take. Yeah, I think people
Dom
don't
coming
like
in
it
hot.
when he gets raced as hard as he races others. So he got a taste of his own medicine, and I think he overreacted. Russell was right. Everybody was on cold tires. He had the apex. Even though they were side by side, it's very risky to go on the outside at Baku, especially with walls in general. So, yeah, that's my hot take. I think it was a racing incident, and they didn't even really crash. It was just, very tight racing. It was almost an accident, but
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I think Max just had like a hole in his side pod or something, right?
Yeah, he had a little hole in the side pod. So I guess you can. Well, yeah, I guess you could say it's a crash if it caused damage, but it was certainly, yeah, it was just a racing incident, in my opinion. We'll see if Verstappen holds that grudge for the rest of the season and he gets him back at a particular race. So
The thing is, Max has to race someone, and it ain't Lewis anymore. So he's just him and George Russell are going to be the story of the season, as it were. They'll go at it all season, them two. But
anyway, I just wanted to stop and say hi and bye. I gotta go. Bye.
I still don't understand how Lewis is third in the championship. Fucking.
yeah, to be honest, it's the one time I would have always thingy, but yeah, Max overreacted a little bit, but he's a competitor, so. But George Russell's getting a bit. I find he's already getting a bit big for his boots. You know.
Yeah,
He seems.
notice that.
He's. Well, I thought at Merck obviously he wants to win races, but yeah, he seems to think he's high up there right now in terms of his head. He thinks that he should be, the main man, as it were.
I never cared for George Russell, to be honest. He's another one.
Yeah, like some of his interviews and that, and he's obviously having a battle with Lewis as well at the minute. It's going to be interesting.
Yes, it is a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Of course, he's come from Williams, and suddenly he's really in the spotlight at Mercedes, even though Mercedes aren't up there anymore. But he's still really in the spotlight, and I think a little bit of it's gone to his head. I have to say.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and of course, being managed by Toto Wolff as well. I mean, that's some pretty high expectations that you've got to have anyway. If you're being managed by the boss of Mercedes, and so I think every interview he's got to look, sort of, oh, I'm the best. He's got to be beating. He's got to be at least emotionally beating Lewis every single time. Otherwise, Toto can just do a Valtteri and chuck him over to Alfa Romeo or something. So yeah, he's really got to. Every single time he's got to prove himself to say, I'd still deserve to be there, which of course he does at the moment because he's beating Lewis. But how long will that continue? Will Lewis fight back and be back up there at the top by the end of the? I don't know. What do you reckon?
I think in the end, if they start going wheel to wheel with each other, I think Lewis will get the better of him in the end, like over the course of the season.
True.
But yeah, there does seem to be quite a rivalry already building up between them two.
Yeah, which is great to see. I love the teammate rivalries. I wish the rivalry at Ferrari was a little bit more intense because that just isn't there between Charles and Carlos. I wish that would get a little bit more heated, a little bit more aggressive. That would be great to see. And
all that happened to the Ferrari camp is they figure out how to throw races away every week when they have chances to win.
True.
It's either horrendous strategy calls or their drivers fuck it up on the racetrack.
This is true. This is very true. Matthew in the chat says Russell is mid. So there you go.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's about right. I was quite interested. I don't know if you spoke about because I missed the start of your stream, but did you see Alonso? Did you see the radio messages from Alonso to Lance Stroll around Baku last week?
What about giving him sort of information about what he should do, like brake balances and stuff like that? Yeah. That was really good. I like that. That's certainly not something Alonso would have done in the past, I don't think.
No, that's what I don't think anyone could believe it.
Yeah,
it was it was over the radio, and everyone was like, "What? Alonso's helping his teammate? What the fuck's going on there?"
Yeah, because he didn't do much helping with Lewis Hamilton in 2007, did he?
No.
Let's face it. Oh, hang on, let's sit in the pit so you can't go out for your last qualifying run, so I can get ahead of you. That's not helping out your teammate at all, is it?
No.
So yeah,
I don't think any of Alonso's teammates have really liked him. Like they've never they've never had like a bond. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah. I've heard rumors are that he's horrible to work with. Horrible to work with.
yeah,
He's,
that's been the rumours for years, and like
yeah.
but then all of a sudden he's like fucking.
Now
No, he's got
yeah.
a bit older. Maybe he's just like he's helping his teammate out.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he's just reached that, that point in life where he's gone, because let's face it, he's doing really well in a team that really shouldn't be there, in all honesty, because it's just a carbon copy of like a Red Bull and possibly a Mercedes as well. So it shouldn't really be there, but he's doing really well. He's quite old. He's past his 40s. So what has he got to lose to sort of say, ask Lance if he can adjust his brake balance to this setting? What has he got to lose? Not a lot. He knows Lance isn't going to go past him. I did like the radio message during the race when Lance said, I'm just going to stay here behind you. And he said, Alonso said, well, he can have a go if he wants to. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah, that you could say, well, if he wants to, he can have a go. I don't care. He's not going to get past, but he can have a go.
I actually thought, because in terms of what they was trying to do, I actually thought that was the one bit they got wrong, because Lance was obviously, that's a very long straight, and then Lance obviously had DRS as well, but didn't pass. But if Alonso had just let him pass with that extra bit of speed, just pulled over, let him pass, then the next time round, then they would have gained. They would have got closer to the cars in front by working together and working off the DRS.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like we were doing last season at Monza, Jamie.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? If you let Lance pass with a DRS, then literally DRS after, nice little easy pass for Alonso with a DRS. It's not a massive amount, but they would have gained like hundredths of a second. Like, I can't remember who was in front of them at the time. I think it was Lewis, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but they would have gained time overall by just going right. Yeah, go. Like just carry it, like But
you're talking about prior to the safety car.
Yeah, it was well before that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
I think Lewis pitted anyway.
When Alonso caught Lewis, that's when Lewis pitted.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to see Alonso help his teammate for once.
It was indeed.
How many more years do you think Alonso has in him?
How many years? Oh, I'm not gonna say, because I still think he's got at least two. After this season, I think he's got two. After that, possibly not. But I reckon he signed for 3 years anyway, hasn't he, at Aston? So he's still going to be around for 2 more seasons. Unless
how long do you think Hamilton sticks around?
I don't know. He's already said, hasn't he, that he's not going to go anywhere else. He says that's not in my plan at all. So he's going to stay at Mercedes, but for how long, I don't know.
Until it's for how long do Mercedes want him, I think, is the more question.
Yeah. I mean, he's still okay at the moment, because even if his performance doesn't improve, they'll just have him as a number 2 driver, because he's still got enough there to be a number 2
To me,
driver.
there's no way Russell's going to be put number 1
to help
over
develop
Lewis.
the car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I think Russell will be put number 1 ahead of Lewis if he keeps on outperforming him. But...
Yeah. I mean, I've said this before on streams, but that's what he used to do in the old days. If you were a great driver,
And if you notice, the only course of the weekend, the only reason why Russell beat was Hamilton, the safety car in the middle of that first cycle of pit stop. Hamilton's been faster pretty much all this year over Russell.
Yeah. That safety car was just unfortunate, it really was, because I was really enjoying that race, but like those first 12 laps or whatever, there was some really good battles going on. Not at the front, but midfield, there was some good battles going on. And then the safety car came out. Everyone went onto the hard tyre, and now everyone's talking about, we should get rid of the hard tyre because it almost went to the end of the Grand Prix, which is ridiculous. 3/4 of a race on one tyre it's too much. It really is.
I still think We need to put the fuel modes back, and refueling needs to come back in F1. Not going to happen, but I think it needs to.
Oh yeah, I'd love it, but unfortunately, because of the environmentalists, there'd be no possibility of refueling ever again in Formula One. It's just gone too far. Greta would. Oh my God, Greta would be.
What year did they stop fueling? I can't remember.
2009, wasn't it? 2009. Oh, that was the last year, I think, wasn't it? Refueling. Yeah, 2010. That was the first year with no refueling. When we had the bronze, they were still refueling. That was the last year.
11 years.
Wasn't like the Brazil incident in 09 was one of the reasons?
I think it was, yeah. And of course, you had that race where, was it Raikkonen when he pulled out of the pits? We still had the fuel hose attached, and that
and it ripped and it sprayed. I forget who did it spray.
Oh, everyone,
yeah. I mean, that was.
I mean, what car caught fire? The one that was behind Raikkonen.
I think so. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I can't remember.
I forget.
That far back, but
I can't remember what car actually got caught fire. The one that was following them out of the pit lane.
Yeah, it is dangerous refueling, and as I say, it's gone too far now for us to revert back to it because of all the environmental, that they just lose their shit completely, and it would never happen. But I would love to see it. Yeah, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Because I look at it this way, just like IndyCar, it's the same. They use the same type of fueling almost with the hose, and they obviously still fuel. I mean, there's situations, but it makes the racing better. It was a lot more strategy involved.
Yep. I'm still wondering what they're going to do after 2030, because I don't know about everywhere else, but they're banning petrol cars, aren't they, Jamie, from 2030 over here? It's ridiculous.
Apparently so, but that's a long way off yet, and a lot of things can change between now and then.
That's true. That's true. I'm hoping that reverses, because
it probably will. I don't see.
Yeah, my problem is people who have just learnt to drive and they just want to get their first car. We've all done it. We've gone out and we go out and buy a complete wreck, don't we, as our first car. It's it's falling apart, but it is our first car. If all the petrol cars are banned, people's first cars are going to be saying electric, and I think that's going to be horrible to have as an electric car it's all right as you going through life, you end up with a petrol car, but to start your driving career in a electric car is going to be horrible. I just don't like the idea. And I mean, once they ban it in 2030, there'll still be tons of petrol cars around for next 10 or 15 years after that. So we're talking 2045, aren't we, before basically all the petrol cars will be gone, because they'll still be around, won't they, petrol cars? So I can't see the reason why they sort of want to ban them in 2030 anyway. They should just, do what they're doing now. I've always said hybrid should have been the way forward anyway, where you've got electric motor, and then when the electricity runs out, you then go over to the petrol engine, which then recharges the back. I've always said that was the best way of doing it. It would have
hybrid cars are better.
Yeah, it would have stopped. It would have stopped all this rubbish about having to go to charging points and recharge your car, and I just don't get it. But there you go.
I think, like say, 2030 is a long way off. But I mean, these electric cars, fully electric cars at the moment, are all right if you want to just fucking pop round the shops or whatever. But other than that, it's just
exactly.
There's a lot more work that needs to go into them before everyone can have a fully electric car.
Exactly. You imagine, Jamie, if you're going to a special event, or say someone's died, and say like you and me, we would need to go to Scotland. How many times would we have to stop to recharge just to get there? It's about 4 times?
Exactly, yeah.
4 times at least, wouldn't it? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just not going to work. I just say hybrid cars are pretty cool. I don't mind them, but fully electric ones are just useless at the moment.
Absolutely.
Who do you think's been the biggest disappointment in F1 so far this season, Dave?
Biggest disappointment in F1 so far.
See, I'm asking you the questions now. You should just
Okay,
do the
I
other way.
like it. I like it. Well, I'm going to say, actually, just for this season, I'm not basing it on last season. This season, I've got to say Valtteri Bottas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he just seems nowhere, absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, they're not with it, are they?
They're not with it. He's. I mean, last year he was, you know, at the start of the season anyway, he was doing really well, and you know he was up there. But this season he's
Getting points and stuff. Yeah.
he was getting points, yeah. But this season he just seems to have, I don't know, well dropped off. Maybe it's because he's on the second year of his 3-year contract, and a little bit of complacency set in. He's gone like, well, you know, I'm getting the money. Why do I have to, you know, put in the ultimate effort? That you know, that happens a lot. So yeah,
but it's the same again. His teammates doing quite well, not like scoring point, but in terms of racing wise and where he should finish, he's actually doing all right, isn't he? Like,
yeah, old Guan Yu Zhou. Yeah, he's quite impressive, I have to say. So yeah.
McLaren's been a disappointment too.
Oh, McLaren, yes. Wow.
They went into Baku with they were what's his face, the you know I'm talking about, their chief engineer. He was
You're talking about Zach Brown, are you?
Yeah, Zach Brown. Yeah, so yeah, Zach was going on about before that race at Baku, like, you know, they always love interviewing him on Sky Sports on like before the races.
Oh yeah, even during the race.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. Yeah, you get the same feed that we do. Yeah, like it's all the same feed, like basically. Yeah. But like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, we've got 11 upgrades coming into Baku, and you know they were saying this. They actually, he even actually said, like, quoted, "This is the car that we should have had at the start of the season."
Yeah.
Like, that's what he said on like the Thursday or Friday during the press conference or whenever. He said, this is the car that we should have had during the at the start of the season, and this is where we want to be. And then the car was shit.
Yes, and it also proves that Daniel Ricciardo was not actually the problem, because Piastri is not doing very much better than what Daniel was doing. He really is.
I said that when they got him. I said it to everyone to use in the chat, to everyone. I was like, no, he's going to be shit. Like, he ain't going to do nothing.
No. Managed by Mark Webber as well, you know.
Yeah.
So he's got high expectations as well, because if he looks bad, then Mark Webber looks bad, you see. So
that's it.
That's the trouble with having like a high profile person as your manager or your boss. You know, you've really got to perform out of the gate, otherwise, you know, you're in serious trouble. And so yeah, Piastri at the moment he's definitely on the danger list.
Yeah. I think, like, for different reasons, I think that, well, they've just had loads of problems, but like Alpine have been like shocking so far.
They have
as a team.
Yeah, I was very surprised. Very surprised. Do you know why? Because they've run the cars in pink. That's what I say. They've been shocking since they've been in pink.
I just wish F1 cars took a step back when the racing was better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, the car that we had before, no DRS, there was still more passing than there is now. Cars are too wide now, to be honest.
Yeah, I said this in a video a couple of days ago that I think they should just get rid of DRS now, because it's just it's too overpowerful, and it's destroying races. As I said, that start at Baku, Charles Leclerc, he should have just got out of the way on the first lap, because it was inevitable as soon as lap 3 came along that Verstappen was going to storm past him. So he should have just got out of the way. But if there was no DRS, yeah, Verstappen would have had to have fought past Leclerc.
Make it worse, Verstappen passed Leclerc without DRS.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. So, yeah.
And it's just crazy how fast that Red Bull is.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, you almost don't want to be on pole.
that pace of that Red Bull car is a lot faster than when Mercedes was when they were dominant. Overall pace, that Red Bull is. Yeah, Mercedes had the dominant car when obviously, but to me right now that Red Bull is way more dominant than the Mercedes was.
Oh yeah.
It's not really
Just
though,
the
is it?
speed
Because
difference. The problem is Red Bull has it all. Like they're good in the straights, they're good in the slow sections, they're just good all around. Like you notice when Mercedes was dominant, it was like they gave up a little in like the slowest, but they were real good in a straight line. It was one or the other. But Red Bull just seems to be dominant everywhere they go.
I don't agree that the Red Bull, okay, it is a dominant car, but it's not more dominant than what that Mercedes was. Because the gap between Mercedes and the other teams, sorry, oh God, the gap between, sorry, I need fucking, oh dear. Yeah, the gap between Mercedes and the other cars was huge.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, yeah.
So the Red Bull car might be the quickest car that we've seen, but it's not as dominant as what the Mercedes was because, all right, it was way far quicker at the time than what the other cars were on the grid. Whereas just everyone's advanced through the years. Yes, Red Bull have got probably the quickest car in a straight line. It would have been quicker than that Mercedes, but everyone's advanced. It isn't like Red Bull aren't winning races by 30 seconds, a minute. They ain't lapping everyone on the track. You know what I mean? Like the races are closer. So it's not more dominant than what that Mercedes was.
That was just ridiculous. That 32 kilometers faster when he passed Leclerc for the lead at Baku without DRS.
Yeah, I just don't get the DRS. They said before they designed these new cars that there'll be no DRS, and then they changed their minds.
And then we still have it.
Yeah, but if you look at that DRS rear wing, you can clearly see it's an afterthought. When that wing goes up, it's like a complete post box, isn't it? Open at the back. Yeah. Whereas on the old stuff, it was just like a flap that used to lift up, didn't it? And but this is just like the whole thing comes up, and it's clearly just an after. It's something that they put on at the last minute. So yeah, I think they should get rid of it because they made the car's ground effect so you wouldn't need DRS, and yet obviously someone went round and did some testing laps and went, oh dear, we're not able to get as close as we thought, so we better bring it back in again. So that's what they did. They panicked. So they should have just stuck with their guns and carried on, because I think the cars without DRS would be pretty decent.
But yeah,
yeah.
But no, that was my point, Jamie. Yeah, when Verstappen passed Leclerc, the start of lap 3, going into turn 1. 32 kilometers quicker than Leclerc without DRS. The DRS wasn't even enabled yet. That was just fucking nuts of how much quicker that Red Bull was.
Yeah, but then, the Ferraris haven't had no real straight line speed. They're a lot better in the corners, Ferraris. But yeah.
But yeah, to be that much faster is just nuts.
There's always going to be one team that's quicker than the other, but everyone seems to think, oh, the Red Bull's too dominant, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, they've just got the better car, but it's not that dominant compared to what we've seen in the past. Red Bull are beatable. They are beatable, but then, especially on like Baku just suited Red Bull down to a T, you know? There's going to be other tracks where they ain't going to be as good, so...
I see a Red Bull win it. I don't know. I just seen a Red Bull win again at Miami.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen definitely. It's going to be him or
hopefully it's Chico.
Yeah, I was about to say Perez will win at Miami.
Yeah, I think he will. And then
this should suit him down to an absolute T, this track.
Yep. And then that's going to cause some problems.
Because it's 6 points, right? So if Perez wins, then just say Max still gets a fast lap, that would put him at a tie on top of the standings.
Yeah, at some point in the future, team orders are going to have to come into play because obviously they want Max to win over Checo.
Well, I don't think they do. I think at the end of the day, they want both their drivers at the front, and whoever wins it, wins it. They'll be there on merit. So
See, I
because they
don't
can
think
come
you'll
out
see
behind
team
the scenes.
orders. I don't think you'll see team orders start to come into effect unless they start wrecking into each other.
Yeah.
Remember, like Ricardo Verstappen days when
Mm-hmm.
Max got the nickname Crash Stappen.
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think that's when you're gonna have to put some of that into play. Like, not until they start wrecking each other consistently. I mean, once it could be a racing deal, but if it starts happening a lot, that's when you're gonna, I think, see that come into effect.
Yeah.
But until then, let them race. They're both competing for a championship.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Like, I mean, part of me was when Perez had the lead and Leclerc was. It was after the pit when Perez took the lead, and I think you had Leclerc second, and Max was third. I think at the time.
Yeah, because of the safety car.
Yeah,
That's how
it,
Perez got the lead. Yeah.
yeah. But at one point I thought they was going to ask. Well, I thought like in the part they would have said to Perez like almost like back Leclerc up into Max a bit just so he can get DRS range, but they didn't. Perez was just gone. Like, he was just like fuck this, see you later. You know, Max can do it himself.
And even though this early in the season, regardless what team you're on, it's a bit too early to be doing team orders. Way too early in the season.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I can understand if one car, you know, later in the season's trying to win a championship and the other's one's out of it. Then you're putting one out to help the other. But this point in the season, regardless who you are, it's too early.
The time it'll get really interesting at Red Bull is like the last 3-4 races of the season.
Yeah.
Because I think this year Perez will still be up there fighting for it.
But yeah, that's the thing we got to see. If they're still in the championship hunt, if both cars are still in the championship hunt.
Yeah, I think both cars will be, definitely. They'll certainly be closer this year.
Right, we've got some people in the chat. I think this is in reference to the car that caught fire in 2008 in the pit lane. Scott says Heikki Kovalainen.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
There you go. And
I knew it was a name like that, but
yeah.
it just couldn't come to my head.
And this is a reference to F123, the new game coming out. Matthew says 35% race distance in F123. And will ERL be doing 35% races? I can't see it. Can't see it.
Nobody
Would be nice,
knows.
but I can't see it, yeah.
What do we do at the minute? I can't even remember.
50%. 50.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 50. Yeah, that ain't going to check. What's the point of taking it down a bit?
Yeah.
No.
Matthew says Mark Webber threw the 2010 World Championship away. Still annoyed about that as a fan of his. Can't remember 2010, to be honest. I can't remember what happened. Long time ago now.
But yeah,
I never really liked
yeah,
Mark Webber. So.
I can't remember, Dave. Were you one of the people that said they should get rid of hard tires and make you have to pit at least twice?
Yes, that was me. Yes, and that
I
is
agree.
that is now going to be official ERL policy. So I've heard. I'm very shocked.
Is it really?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So Joe has said he didn't say no. So he said it's going to be mandatory to use a soft tire. So it doesn't mean you have to pit twice, because if you think that you can last long enough or whatever,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's down to you to like do what you want, basically.
Yeah.
But you have to, in a race, it's mandatory to use a soft tyre at some point,
Mm-hmm. There you
which
go.
is
Starting
cool.
this season, this week.
Starting this week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I won't be there anyway, so
Okay.
I'll be there the week after.
Yeah, I mean, getting a soft to wear or last long enough to,
Yeah. Well, hopefully,
especially on tracks that
hopefully it
are
will mean
high
that.
wear.
Yeah. Hopefully, it will mean that everyone will have to stop twice, which is basically what my intention was. Because I, as I've said, if someone's an accident on the first lap and has to come in for a pit stop, they've then got zero chance of getting anywhere catching back up again because everyone else is stopping
Yeah.
once. So you're already 30 seconds behind.
That also reads qualifying, because you get 3 sets of softs in qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
Just choose the softer compound every time.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that you don't get a whole. Those are the 3 sets of softs are what you have for the race as well. So you're basically only going to have, if you use all 3 sets in qualifying, you're only going to have a used set of softs for the race.
Good. That's
Which
what I
makes
like.
it even more interesting. Which makes you not go as long on the softs during the race. So that takes. So basically, you're already going to start with 10 to 15% wear on the softs if you use them.
It depends. If you only put one run on them, you only get about 6% of wear on them, don't you? If you just put one run on the softs. So
Sometimes it's like 12, depending on the track.
It's those soft tyres vary so much. There's some of the tracks you can only literally do about 6 laps on them before they're absolutely fucked.
Yeah, but there's some tracks after 1 lap, Canada pits, it was like 12% wear. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like Singapore, a perfect example.
Yeah, you can't use softs at Singapore. They last about 4 or 5 laps at a decent thing, and then they're gone.
Oh, speaking of Singapore, Jamie, unfortunately, we're gonna have to apparently, and not only that, it's a day race this season.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's gonna make the tire wear even more abrasive.
I think that's the first race, and I'm not going to be there Monday. So
No,
you guys can
Netherlands
have
is
fun.
first. Singapore is race 2.
What was the first race? Sorry.
Netherlands.
Oh, okay. Oh, I missed. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I think the first
Singapore is race 2.
Oh, okay. I'll be there for that then.
In the daytime, James.
Yeah, so
in the daytime.
Yeah.
So that's going to kill tire wear even more. Singapore's already terrible with tire wear. Just put it on in the heat of the day. It's going to make it even worse.
Oh, look forward to it.
Absolutely. Sounds like fun. I love it if people are getting miles and all on the tyres. That's going to really.
And the worst part is Singapore's already a long race. 31 laps around that.
You should still do every circuit though, even if you have to go soft, medium. They should be fine because I've been doing some test races and I deliberately started on mediums and I did 2 stints on mediums and run them to about 80%, and then I had the soft at the end and I really only had about 2 or 3 laps left to do. So you really should be okay. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think it'd be all right. Like I say, it adds a bit. At least we got a pit more and that. And
Pit more, yeah. I'll say I just noticed. I didn't mention it to Joe last season because he was having problems with the game himself, and he wasn't. He was trying hard to get to grips with it. But I noticed this season he's back on pace again, so that's why I thought I'd mention it. I just noticed that everyone does the hard medium strategy. No one's using the soft tyres anymore, are they? And it's just. It just seems a bit boring to me, as I say, because if anyone has an accident, they might as well just park the car up on that one because you've got zero chance of catching anyone because they're all one stops. So if you introduce one more pit stop into the mix, it does give someone a chance to get a little bit higher up there. And of course, you've got to look after the tyres more. You've got to watch the tyre. You've got to watch the tyre readouts and see how you're doing. Whereas before, basically, if you're just going on hard and you never look at the tyres, do you? You're like, yeah, because you know they're going to last, so you're not even bothered, are you? But this time exactly. You could actually have to sort of work out. You may have to run some of those tyres 50% of wear, before you change them, which should be good. Anyway, we will see. It may be a great disaster, but as it's the last season, hopefully for 2023, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, because
do you think this will be the last season for 2020?
Hopefully, if 23 is okay, hopefully we can transition onto it. But the thing is, if this works, then we've got a good thing in place that we can carry over to the next game. You see, if this works.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what the mechanics of the next game are going to be like anyway with that at the minute. But...
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Hopefully that's true though. They made it better for controller users.
Let's hope so. I haven't been so excited, but as soon as they mentioned controller users, I'm like,
I was happy about that. Must admit, I was so happy that I've actually read that. But then they'll find some. Well, I don't know. They'll find some way of messing it up, won't they? But
oh yeah, bound to.
It's just with a controller, it's so hard. It's like almost impossible to be consistent.
It is. And this for 22 having to go back to the full traction, that's really done me in. I just can't get used to it.
Yeah,
I really can't. I can't get used to it. I mean, in some tracks you're pretty decent, but in a lot of them you're just like, it's just so slow coming out of the corners. It really is. It's just my God.
Yeah, you thought about controllers with full traction.
Yeah. I mean, I've been using medium now since 2017, so I'm just so used to it. 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, all on medium.
That's what traction. I use.
Yeah, and now we had to go back to full again. It's like, come on, we're going backwards. We're not going forwards.
Yeah, because it seemed like on the controller, as soon as you touch the throttle, you were spinning.
Yeah,
you couldn't keep the car under you at all.
Yeah, I actually read an article yesterday while I was doing some research, and Max Verstappen tested F1 22 before it came out, and he said you got wheel spin in fifth gear, and he says you don't get wheel spin in real life on an F1 car in fifth gear, and he says on this game you were getting wheel spin. I presume that was on like medium traction, or as it was Max Verstappen, probably no traction. But he says he says that's wrong. That is not correct physics. You don't get wheel spin in fifth gear. So yeah, that's I read that yesterday in an article. So hopefully,
and that's something I don't like though, but that's something you can listen to Max about because he actually drives a real F1 car.
Exactly,
it's his job.
Yeah. So hopefully they've sorted it.
All this stuff that they're saying about, we've sorted this, sorted that, and we've got this in the game, that in the game. All I want, right, is a safety car that works.
Yeah, that's all we ever want, Jamie. Every year we want a safety
that's all
car.
That's all I've wanted for 10 years.
I know, and me. We've got red flags now, though, Jamie. Red flags.
Cars.
Yeah,
so
but
we can put safety cars in ERL.
Yeah, because I've been on about it long before your time, Don, just let's have safety cars in our ERL races. Let's have it so, gives everyone a bit of a fighting chance. You can pit if you got damage. Like if there's if two of you have a crash, or one, or if someone crashes out, but someone's got damage relating to that crash, that person can then pit with like not having to end up being 30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
And because say I crashed into you, Don, like, all right, my car's wrecked, you've got damage from me crashing into you, that's not your fault, but then you're 30 seconds behind because you've got to go and pit anyway. And that's why not that we get pissed off with each other, but that's things happen and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, like whatever. I know it's sort of all like blown under, it's all blown under the bridge, like walk under the bridge afterwards, but it'd be nice to be able to do that and then be back in the race, wouldn't it? But the safety cars on that game have been awful for years, and I guarantee there'll be an option to turn. We won't have red flags in ERL on that game because they'll just be turned off or something, or do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, bound to. Unless the flag system is, inset so that if you've got like blue flags then the red flag is also implemented. But I don't know. I mean, most of the time Joe turns the blue flags off as well, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
I don't think it
Is
makes
it
much
the
difference.
problem with the safety car though? Like if someone disconnects, this it automatically triggers a safety car.
There's been multiple issues with it over the years, like with it gets itself muddled up in what cars are meant to be where, and it tells cars to overtake, and it don't tell some cars to overtake. Then people get disconnected. Then it just randomly starts, and cars are all over the place.
Yeah,
There's been multiple different issues for God knows how many games
yeah.
that
Loads
they've
of
just
games.
never fixed.
Yeah. The biggest issue is that you're supposed to be behind the safety car, and it says do not exceed your delta pace, and yet you are miles behind the safety car. You can't catch up because you can't go past the delta pace, and then the safety car comes in and restarts, and you're like a minute behind, and yet you should be behind the safety car. That's the biggest flaw the safety car's ever had, and
Yeah.
that happens in career races. So online, that will be amplified horrendously to have that in there, that you know, because you can't exceed the delta pace. If you do, you get a penalty. So you've got to sit there, and yet the safety car's like three-quarters. If you look at your track map, the safety car's three-quarters of the way around on the other side of the track, going around at its slow speed. Then it comes in, and that's it. It's all done, all over.
I think one of the other glitches was it telling you to overtake, and then you overtake, and then you get a 10-second penalty for illegal overtake.
Illegal overtake, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It's just been ridiculous. Honestly, there was an old, I can't remember which one it was now, but I think it was a PS1 game. There's a PS1 Formula 1 game that had safety car. It worked perfectly. Absolutely. Ooh. It was absolutely, and that was PS1.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show. But there you go.
It wouldn't have been F1 98 or 99 because they were fucking awful.
No,
what one was 97 was really good.
97 was really good. 98 was a complete load of cack.
That was fucking awful, that game.
Yeah.
That was with the I remember that, like just even like just the graphics on it, like the wheels looked like blocks.
That's it. Yeah. Liquid all sorts.
Wait, what game was this?
That's it.
What game are we talking about?
So
F1 98.
F1 98. Yeah, it was before your time, Dom. I don't think you were a little sperm back then, were you?
98. I was 8 years old.
8 years old. Oh, well, that's not too bad.
Well, no, like I told you, I didn't get in the F1 probably until just before I got into F1 late. So I probably didn't start watching F1 or playing F1 probably until right before, probably about a year or two before, I would say about 05 roughly.
Yeah.
Because it was a couple of years before Lewis Hamilton came in the F1. I really didn't have a driver, so I went with him because I didn't have a driver, so I figured I'd go with the new guy at the time.
So you picked a bad year to come into Formula 1 then, 05, because of course that was the tyre regulations when they couldn't change tyres, if you remember that. Oh my God. They had to run the whole one set
I think
of
it
tyres for the whole race.
It was either 05 or 06. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a terrible year, that was. Do you remember was it Kimi Räikkönen, Jamie, when his tyres just completely went and they just exploded?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. They soon changed that rule. Yeah. I don't know if you remember it, Don, but yeah, you couldn't change tyres in a race. You had to make the tyres last the whole race for 2005. Absolutely crazy. I mean, these tyres, I'm sure they were made of concrete because they had to be so hard to last 100% race distance. It was unbelievable. And sometimes they just couldn't make it to the end because, that was the first signs of the environmentalists starting to, come into Formula One and start saying you've got to start doing this because they were saying that they were spending too much on tyres, and that's harmful to the environment. So they brought this rule in. You could only have one set of tyres for the whole race, and it was a complete disaster. And luckily, 2006 they saw sense and went back to the old system again.
Yeah, it was just option and prime, though. Back then.
Oh yeah, that's all you had. Options and primes. Unbelievable.
Good old days.
Good old days. Yeah, yeah. Michael Schumacher at 05. I mean, he'd been completely dominant in 2004, and then when these new regulations, because he just couldn't get used to the hard tyres, he was just nowhere. I remember in one of the races, he crashed into the back of a Minardi during practice, and he was like, whatever.
Right. Kimmy won it in 04. Who the hell won the championship in 05 that year? I can't remember.
Fernando Alonso.
It was Alonso?
Yeah, he won it in 05 and
That's what it
06.
was.
That was his 2-year winning streak at Renault, because that car was that. Not so much the 06. He had quite a lot of competition in 06, and really anyone could have won that championship. But 05, that car was just unbeatable. Really was unbeatable. It wasn't the fastest car though, but it was, in the corners it was just, it was like it was on rails. It really was. Great car. Great car.
That was what, yeah, because Thingy it was Raikkonen second that year, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good old Kimmy.
Good old Kimmy. Matthew in the chat says, "Are the WTF1 videos finished?" Possibly, unless I can think of any more. Yeah. But if I can milk it some more, I will do. Scott Barnes says Michelin used a Le Mans type of tyre for 2005. There you go. So that was the tyres they used. Tyres that they used for Le Mans. Yeah. Oh, it's just horrible, Don. And it was so boring as well, Don, because they came in for a pit stop, yeah, but they couldn't change the tyres, but they could change the fuel. So they came in. You've got all the mechanics that sit there ready to change the tyres. They're all there, but they're just standing there, like, and then the bloke just comes on, puts the fuel in, takes it out, and they're gone. It was like they said to themselves, well, we can't sack these guys, the ones that put the tyres on. We can't sack them, so we'll still keep them in the team. But they literally just stood there because they couldn't change the tyres, because they had to be there, because if a tyre punctured or whatever, then they were allowed to come into the pits and change the tyre. So all the teams still had to have everyone ready, but they just didn't do anything. I thought anyone being a tyre mechanic in 2005 must have had the best job in the world. I
was going to say, what a job!
Yeah, exactly. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Money for nothing. Brilliant.
For nothing. Yeah. The poor fuel guy, though, he still had to stick his nozzle on, and oh my god. Yeah. I mean, that was terrifying for those fuel guys, wasn't it? I mean, you could visibly see they were like stressed up, trying to get that fuel, because you had to get it seated exactly in the right place, otherwise the fuel wouldn't go in. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons, Don, why they got rid of refueling, basically because of trying to get that. I mean, over the years they did refine it, and they did manage to get that, because when it first started, when they brought refueling back, I think that was 94 if I remember rightly. I'm not quite sure, but I think it was 94. When they first brought it back, the nozzles were like huge, and then they had to seat it into this thing, and you could visibly see the mechanics were like this every single time they come in, trying to get it in. Over the years, it did get better, but oh dear, when they brought that back in 94, because of course 94 was that first season when they banned everything, wasn't it? And sadly, where we lost Ayrton Senna as well. But yeah, so refueling was horrible.
The issue was there was like you say, there was sort of more and more. Without the tyre changes, there was more and more pressure on them. Everything's got to be quick.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You got to get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't the previous year, before Senna went to Williams, correct? That's where he drove for when he died, right? Was it Williams?
94 Williams is when he died. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't the previous year Williams have like something crazy with their suspension that made that car so quick?
Active suspension. Yep.
Then they took it away.
They banned it, and then they banned it at the end of '93.
Yeah, they banned everything after '93. You had active suspension, traction control. They banned that as well, and ABS braking. That was all banned in '94.
That's why the Williams car was so bad in the first place when he went to them.
Yeah, exactly.
What car had like both the small wheels on the front? Like the.
I think
The extra set of wheels.
the 6 wheels
What
at the front.
car
I
was-
think that was a Tyrrell, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, Tyrrell. Yeah.
Tyrrell, yeah, 6 wheels at the front. That was an experimental car. There's been a lot of experimental cars. There was one with a big, huge fan at the back of it. Oh my god!
Oh God, that was late 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was one car that one of the teams come out with. I can't remember what it was. I think it may have. I'm going to say Lotus, but I may be wrong. But the car was so good that it was banned immediately because it would have basically won every race if it had run. And the FIA said no, because they had a system that none of the other teams were using. But it was such a good system that the car was absolutely unbeatable. I can't remember which car it was now. But yeah, it was just, oh my God, it's crazy. And the FIA immediately said, no, it's banned. Great. Well, there you go, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I've been waffling on as usual.
Yeah.
For 1 hour. Yeah, says Jamie. Let's just check the chat before we go. Scott says San Marino 2005, 3 laps to go. Schumi versus Alonso, massive battle. Time for a break. Time for the next race in Spain. Scott says I missed F1 ITV so much. I grew up on F1. Yeah, over here in the UK, F1 ITV was absolutely great. Really was. We loved it, didn't we, Jamie?
Yep.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. I was going to do a quick stream, Jamie, of like 30 minutes, and it's 1 hour and 48.
Yeah, and Dave, before you go,
Yes.
when I got into F1, it was also Juan Montoya's final years in F1.
Yes, it was. Yes, he got unceremoniously sacked by McLaren, didn't he? Because he went and did some was it IndyCar races, I think, and
Did he drive for Williams?
he did
mainly?
drive for Williams. Yep, Williams BMW, but he got into a little bit of trouble because he went and did those, and he didn't ask Ron Dennis whether he could sort of do them or not, and Ron said naughty boy and got rid of him. So yeah.
Can't remember. Who did they bring in as these? Not Fisher Keller, someone else.
Oh
Can't
yeah,
remember who they brought in.
I can't remember. Yeah, who his replacement was. I know it was only half. It's like just over halfway through the season, I think, when they got rid of him. I can't remember who they brought in.
Yeah.
I've got Heikki Kovalainen in my head. I don't know whether that's
It could have been Kovalainen, actually.
yeah. I just because he did go to
Yeah, wasn't he with McLaren?
oh,
Yeah, he
Kovalainen?
was, yeah.
McLaren. Yeah, I don't know. It's a long time ago. My brain can't hold that amount of information. But anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight.
No problem.
You've been awesome. And I'll catch some of you on Monday for our test race.
Is it a test race or is it the actual season?
It may end up being a test race, but it's supposed to be like a normal race, yeah. So we will see. But as I say, it's the last season, hopefully. So, if things don't work out too well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's the last one anyway. So hopefully it'll be all right. But I think it should work out quite well. Should do anyway. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And of
We
course,
shall see.
if it all goes tits up, you can just blame me. So that's it.
True.
Just blame
So-
it because it was my idea. So you can just say, for fuck's sake, Dave. When you all end up in the wall with no wings on your car and tyres that are completely all burnt out, you can just go, well, that was a fucking brilliant idea, wasn't it, Dave, eh? Fucking
I think it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it. And because people are going to choose different ways of doing it. Either soft. There's basically like 6. Well, there's more combinations.
Exactly.
There's 6, 7. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go soft, medium,
Yep,
medium, soft, medium,
yep,
or medium, soft.
yep.
Then if
Exactly.
you're really going to try your luck, you go hard, soft, or soft to hards.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously you could in some of the races, you probably could just about get away with going soft to hards. But obviously, towards the end of the race, your hards are going to be fucked, and
Yeah.
people are going to obviously be catching up on the softer tyre.
Yeah.
But it depends how far you can get in the meantime, having done one less pit stop. So
Yeah, that's true. Well, thankfully, because the menu doesn't auto run, if we have any problems at the start, we can just keep going until everyone's happy and we can go, because the timer doesn't start, does it, until someone presses the button. So we've got plenty of time to sit there. If someone's like, I don't know, perhaps Randy or whatever is sitting there and he's a bit confused about, how we can just sit there and take our time and get the right strategy on the cars before we go. Because I don't want to see some of the cars going on the wrong strategies and saying, "Oh, I wish I'd done it the other way around." There should be plenty of time.
Well, because Randy will generally do a couple of pit stops anyway and go on a soft tyre at some point. So it's actually of benefit to him. That he's going to be that bit closer, I think, because we've all got a pit again, rather than he always does a couple of pit stops.
Yep. Exactly. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen. I will catch you on Monday.
Later.
Right. See you, Jamie.
Thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's been awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, that was Jamie and Don. Thanks so much for joining me in the chat tonight. Who did we have? We had Scott Barnes. Wrong one. Got fed up, says Scott. Pedro de la Rosa. Oh, was it Pedro de la Rosa? There you go. Thank you for that, Scott. So thanks to Scott was in the chat. Matthew7657 was in there as well. Just J-Mo was in there. And of course, he was in the talking chat as well. And Mr. Will F1 was in the chat as well. Well, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always. This has been another very short Hookster Talks. 1 hour and 53 minutes. And I will catch you in the next video. You've all been awesome. I'd better say a special bye-bye from me and Mr. TV Bear. Yes. Enjoy the Grand Prix on Sunday at Miami. And I'll be back, the usual, all seasons on Sunday as well. So thank you, everyone, and good night.